I mean, does it start? Time to start?
It is.
Are we starting? Is everybody here?
I need to see.
What is 5?
Oh my God, everyone's personality. Cookies. Are so good.
Oh yes, help yourself.
You're all set?
Yes, I'm good.
Robin, we can't hear you. Robin, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Can you pass me one of those cookies, please?
They're so good.
Oh, you're killing me.
We're trying to entice you to come in person.
Next week.
And now, those talking points are updated from last week. So we don't have Lonnie, is that right?
Lonnie, Darwin, and Phil.
Billy, you're in town. I haven't seen Phil forever.
No. Well, we could start at 5, after 5. Let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're going to call the meeting to order. I apologize right up front as your new Arts Commission Chair. I have not yet been able to come to a meeting, and I missed the retreat. So I apologize for that.
You're excused.
Please do not impeach me. But I'm glad to be here with all of you online and in person for the first meeting. So the first item of business is to approve the September minutes. Do I have a motion? Anybody like to pass a motion to approve the minutes?
I will.
Thank you. All right. And second to motion?
I'll second.
Second.
Thank you.
Everyone in favor.
What's that?
Everyone in favor.
Is everyone in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so minutes, motion to pass the September minutes is passed. All right, and next up, going over some of our unfinished business. Sally, I think you had said you were going to do the Art Commission retreat recap?
Yes, so thank you for everyone who came. It was so fun. Thank you for hosting. Susan Lakewald hosted. Beautiful setting. Got a wonderful artist. And it was really inspiring. And I learned new things about everyone. And we have wonderful pictures. We have lots and lots of wonderful pictures I can share at some point. I would like to know for our next retreat if there are things you want to carry over from this retreat or things you would like to add or see done differently.
Sally, the wine choice was excellent.
Thank you, Susan.
That's all right.
Okay.
Thank you,
Wonderful. Anyone else? Do you like the painting? Do you want to try something different? Any thoughts on that?
I kind of like that exercise. We could even do something musically inclined next time or something like that too.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, I really enjoy the painting.
Right, to cover all the disciplines of art. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, again for coming to that.
All right. And Fiesta de la Familia recap. I think that was you again, Sally.
Yes, and, actually, Sylvie, you could probably speak to this too, and Daryl, since you were there. Since our last meeting, we had the Festival de la Familia, our first event, first time doing that, and we talked at the retreat actually about making that an annual event. So the next step on that is to just pick a date and I guess I need to schedule a recap meeting for that. Sylvie, do you want to speak to how you experienced that as a committee member for that? The kind of the pros and cons and what we might keep and do differently next year?
I think you're on mute, Sylvie.
You're on mute.
I thought it was really great that we had the first annual Fiesta de la Familia. I thought the music was really wonderful. I really would love to get mariachis there for the Mexican element of the cultural aspect. The artists were really great. I thought that they should have been more out in the open, and the tent was a little bit too cloistered. It was a little too dark, so maybe we put up cafe lights inside, string them up to brighten it up because it was pretty dark in there. And the flow of it wasn't so great because it got too crowded and you couldn't like walk around and see the art very well. I love that the artists were there and they were able to engage with the public. That was cool. The sand artist was he did a really nice piece, but he was a little too protective of his art. And it was supposed to be, I thought, interactive with the kids, but he kind of complained about the kids walking on it. So I think for next year, I really would like to research and get a chalk artist there that could do a mural that's already laid out, and then let kids and adults just go at it with their own chalk that we provide, because that would be a lot more, I think, fun instead of an artist protecting their art. And I understand that he wants to protect it because he worked hard on it, but that was supposed to be an interactive, and he only gave them a little bit of the bottom. So I would really love to see more Latino vendors at the event. It was more like a multicultural instead of Latin, because we had African, we had Filipino, and I can't remember what else, but I really would like to see more Hispanic to enliven that part of it. And sorry, I got a lot to tell you, but the flags that the papel picado, the little flags that are like cutouts, it really would be great if we could string them across the cafe lights. That would really create a more festive atmosphere than instead of just doing them on the side, because that's a real big part of Latino culture for fiestas. And but overall, it was a great first, go at it. So we had a good crowd. Everybody seemed to be having fun. I really would. I thought the Hispanic people were coming with that group were coming with an activity. They were going to do flower making or something, but I didn't see that there unless I missed it because I was shooting.
Right. The school district was going to do that. Holly Bokey. No.
I didn't see them there. I saw Lakewood's crafts.
They were there, and they had a lot of people at their booth, but I don't know exactly what craft they were doing.
Okay.
Who organized the lineup for the Latino festival?
It was done by committee and mostly Tony Gomez.
I think he chose all the musicians and, didn't he? And they were all like
Yeah.
South American. So,
Yeah, and we tried to get a mariachi band, but we could not. He had 6 for us to call, but, they were all busy.
maybe we
But he had
book
just
them
done,
early.
I
Yeah,
don't
just,
remember being called to help out either, so sorry about that, Sylvie. But I totally understand what you're saying. If it's Latinx, it's gotta be Latinx.
Thanks, Lua. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's really good feedback. Thank you. Anyone else want to add to that?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, Sally. I appreciate the participation, both of the vendors. I thought they were amazing. I thought the vibe was incredible. Music-wise, I enjoyed the varied and inspiring sounds and very inspirational. I got a chance to speak to a few of the artists, and I was actually enthralled with some of their concepts and ideas on how they come about their art. As Sylvie said, it would have been wonderful for them to kind of be out with the general public and patrons. That would have been nice, but I totally understand why that probably couldn't be possible. But perhaps in the future we can find a way for them to engage a little bit more, rather than waiting for people to come to them. Maybe they could approach maybe halfway or so. I don't know how we do that, but and we were probably prepared for, if the weather had suddenly turned on us. So just totally impressed with the preparation that went in, and I appreciate the committee's work, and I love the theme, hands and eyes. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. I might be slightly off on how it was presented, but hands and eyes kind of resonated with me, and really appreciate it. It was a wonderful evening. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, that's a wrap.
All right. And so then moving on to the joint commission meeting that we have with City Council on October 10th. Sally, I didn't know if you wanted to speak to that a little bit as well. I was told we now have 15 minutes total as a group. And we're going to be there with a bunch of other groups, so.
Yeah, so there are 5 items on the council agenda for next Monday, and we're going second. So I would still say to arrive at 7 p.m. at the chambers, and we will go on second. Everyone has a talking role, and I updated the talking points from last time, but we have 15 minutes total for everyone. They want it really short and sweet. And so would you like to practice one more time with this condensed version, and we can just kind of time it and see where we are? Does everyone have the one that's titled Draft 914, Draft 2 914?
No, not me. I'm at home. I don't have my stuff. Sorry.
Okay, and Lua, thank you so much for the sushi and the chicken. That was amazing, and I cannot believe
That was
what
yummy.
you didn't think. You still dropped off the food at the retreat, so thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
couldn't make it.
Super yummy, Lua. Thank you.
I'm all set.
Do you have, oh yeah, you have it. I have a coat, yes, I do. Okay. All right, well, let's, if everyone's ready, we'll just bomb through this, and I'll be the timer. And we'll start with Sylvie. Now, again, it's use your own words. You don't have to read it. If it's easier just have a few bullet points, you can. This is just my way of encapsulating everything, is writing this out. Let's go ahead and start with Sylvie.
Thank you, council members, for inviting us. My name is Sylvie, and I'm part of the MLK Commission or committee. And the event was online this year for the second year in a row. I produced both videos. In 2022, we shortened the viewing time from 35 minutes to 20 minutes. This year's theme was The World Lives in Lakewood. This was the title of the mural created in 2021 by LMCC and partners CPSD and the City of Lakewood. The mural was an inspiration born from the 2021 MLK meetings. I interviewed elders to hear their firsthand experience with civil rights movements and juxtaposed it with interviews from youth and their perceptions. We had a musical ensemble with Michael Powers, Kareem Candy, and Opie Corliss, which was well received. Over 16,000 people viewed the video on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. It was published on January 11th, 2022.
And you could now say, and now I'll, and now, Robin will. That might help.
I can't hear you. There's a dog barking.
You could say, and now Robin will speak.
Oh, okay.
And then Robin
I didn't
can
know who was going next.
Okay.
Christmas parade and, good evening, council members. My name is Robin Sutton with the Board of Directors for the Arts Commission. I'll be talking about the Christmas parade, the tree lighting, and the judging of floats. This event is taking place on December 10th, 2022, from 2:30 until 5:30 p.m. And 2 words usually describe this annual event: bird and ho, ho, ho. The plan is to have the in-person parade starting at Colonial Plaza and ending at City Hall for the formal tree lighting ceremony. The commission members will judge the votes and hand out trophies in 3 categories: the most original, most spirited, and best overall appearance. We hope that the council members will also hand out goodie bags again and wave to all the smiling faces of everybody.
Thank you. Actually, so the next thing is recruitment and retention, and that will be Emily. Emily, you're doing recruitment and retention.
Oh, I'm not doing that, Sally?
Well, you're gonna do the Christmas parade,
Okay,
but I feel
that's
like
cool.
as the chair, Emily should do recruitment and retention, yeah.
Gotcha, thank you.
And so we're gonna go in order of this, I'm sorry, that was my fault. Okay, so recruitment and retention.
All right. So we're proud of the longevity of our members. Terms range from 7 years to the present. We currently have 1 vacant spot. Linda McDermott resigned after 6 years. I took over as chairperson, and Earl remains our vice chair and has been in the role for 6 years. This year we brought on 2 new members, Robin Sutton and Darwin Peters, who found out about us by participating in the film festival that we had. And now I will turn it over to Lua Pritchard to talk about the special events we had at Colonial Plaza.
And Lua, I wanted to tell you that one change is that Daryl is gonna speak about the fiesta since he was there.
Okay, that's good. So, board members, just consider that I'll be ready.
Okay.
And who's after
And
me?
then Daryl, do you?
And unfortunately, I
and then-
don't have the script in front of me. Sally, is there a way you can put it up on the screen?
Yeah. No, but it's pretty straightforward, and so you can just practice at home. Are you comfortable with that?
I won't have any problem
Okay,
with it at all.
So Lua, you'll talk about the Carnival of Cultures, the Jazz Night and Car Show, and the Dancing in the Street, and then Daryl will come up and talk about Fiesta de la Familia.
Yeah, and then am I supposed to say, and here's Daryl Owens?
Yes, ideally.
Okay. And here's Daryl Owens.
Okay. And then, Daryl will introduce Lonnie, and Lonnie will talk about rotating art. And then she'll introduce Emily. Emily
All right. So we are currently having, lighting installed for the, Gateway Arc by John Fleming. 3 maple trees that stand behind the artwork on the CVS side will be lighted, as well as 2 streetlight poles to illuminate the sidewalk.
And I'm just gonna interrupt. I would just start by saying, I'm gonna speak about, the public art at Colonial Plaza.
Public art at Colonial Plaza. Got it. Okay.
Because remember, they aren't seeing any of this. So when we start, we want to say our name and maybe how, your role, and then say what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. So I am Emily Celine. I am the chair of the Arts Commission, and I'm about to talk a little bit more about the public art at Colonial Plaza. Currently, there are 3 maple trees that stand behind the artwork on the CVS side that will have lighting. There will also be 2 streetlight poles that will be put in to illuminate the sidewalk. And then some of the other progress to date that we have are the manufacturing of the triangular opening with Lakewood slate design cut out of a large... You want me to say all that, Sally?
No.
Okay, all right.
Just the first part, yeah.
So manufacturing of the triangular openings with Lakewood slate design. And then we had those shipped to Portland and rolled into the arc shape.
That's gonna be so cool.
We also had 112 wide aluminum strips that were etched with stories from public engagement workshops that were held. The structural design with the concrete base anchors are complete, and the building permit has been approved. So work that's underway. The studs welded to the inside of the arcs where the aluminum strips will attach. The right-of-way application, and we have contacted 2 concrete subcontractors. Concrete subcontractors for concrete work.
Correct.
Okay. And we are still waiting for price quotes on those. And then, what is the unveiling? Plans are currently underway for the unveiling of the art, and we will keep everybody updated about that. And now I will turn it over to our Vice Chair Earl, who will speak about the signal boxes.
Why, thank you, Emily. And thank you very much for the invitation, council members. My name is Earl Borgert, and I'm the Vice Chair for the Arts Commission. One of the tasks that I'm excited to be participating in is the installation of the various signal boxes around our community. To date, we've had about 10 signal boxes and did 4 in 2021 for a total of, to date we had 14 and did 4 in 2021 for a total of 14. This involves selecting artists that have art that speak to the specific communities in which we install the art. It involves selecting the signal boxes. The strategy by which we do this included determining traffic count numbers, blighted areas. I'm not sure if I want to say that.
Yeah, however you want it.
Yeah, because I don't think we need to say that. We don't need to. Yeah, but I don't even think we even need to even say it in those terms at all. It kind of gives it a weird.
Yeah.
So anyway. This involves selecting artists that have art that speak to the specific communities in which we install the art. It involves selecting the signal boxes. The strategy by which we do this included determining traffic count numbers, a low income, I don't want to do low income areas.
You don't even have to go into that. You could just end it, reflect this.
So we are excited to do 10 more installations this next coming year. And for the previous 10, it was about a budget of about $23,000. So hopefully the council will be so forthcoming in that one. And the next steps are to install 10 more wraps focusing on the International District in 2023. I will clean that up a little bit more.
Yeah, you can just do bullet points that help you along.
Yeah.
You know it intimately because you.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any reason to
use your own
say
words
that.
for sure. Less is more. Okay, and then Lonnie.
Oh, and then on to Lonnie. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. And then, so Lonnie will talk about the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Paige will talk about the concert series. Paige, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for hearing us. We're very excited about the lodging tax grant that has made us able to have 6 summer concerts at the beautiful new pavilion at Fort Steilacoom Park. I was in one of the bands, so I got to experience that great pavilion with its air conditioning. And I have to say, as a performer, that you do bring people who want to stay overnight when you have concerts because they want to enjoy themselves and they don't want to be driving home. The bands we have were Aphrodisiacs, Pan Wizard Steel Orchestra, Herding Cats, Olsen Brothers Candy Shop, band I'm in, and Good Company Swing, and Paperback Writer. Biggest crowd was for Paperback Writer, which is a Beatles tribute band that was passing through on tour and brought some people as far as Seattle. And all our attendance ranged between 250 and 450 people. We love the synergy between the farmers market and the concerts this year. You get a little bite to eat and bring it on over when you enjoy the music. Having them the same day enabled people to do that very thing, shop, grab dinner, and enjoy the music. Thank you so much for hearing from us.
I am Susan, ED at Lake Garden, Arts Commission member. We had a wonderful retreat again at Lake Wolf, September 29th from 3 to 6. And we had hands-on painting instruction by Travis Frizel, exhibiting artist at Lake Wolf. We bonded, laughed, and of course brainstormed our 2023 work plan.
Thank you. And again, those are my words, so whatever you want to say. Wonderful. And then Robin, then she'll introduce you, Robin. You go last. Essentially, this is just a chronological order of our work plan. And so it just goes with what happened first, which was MLK, through the Christmas parade, which obviously hasn't happened. So that's the only one is in the future. Okay, that's great. And we have 3 minutes remaining. And for those to talk who weren't here. So I think we're spot on. That was really, really good. And if the council wants more, they'll ask questions.
Yes.
And just remember to respond with council member, like council member, or Deputy Mayor Mary Moss, council member Patty Bell, instead of just using their first name or last name. And then what we haven't done is come up with questions for them. It's always nice to ask them a few pertinent questions that may help us with developing our 2023 work plan if you have any. But now's the time to throw them out. I'll write them down, and then we'll have Emily or anyone who's interested in asking those questions ask them after everyone's done.
I think, because it's been mentioned a couple of times in the last, last couple of meetings that we've had, is other art installations. And so what is the council's vision for that? Yeah, because funding has to come from somewhere. Where would they like to see the art? What kind of art would they like it to be? Is there a certain theme that they would need it to be? Do we have any adequate funding for that to actually make that happen? I know that we haven't gotten to the Gateway Arts yet, but we're talking about 2023, and there has been talk by, like by Patty, for instance, who's a council member, about putting another art installation in one of the roundabouts. So how can we make that happen and bring that vision to life?
Okay. So the question was, what is the vision for public art sculptures in particular, correct?
Exactly.
Public art sculptures.
Hey, Sally.
Okay, and then
Sally, do we have a budget for our commission?
yes, so I was just going to speak to that. We put together a public art program, and in that we created a budget, and that was presented to council in 2020, I believe, and it's our 6-year plan for implementing art. And the first 2 things were the murals and the signal boxes. And they are going to give us the money for the 10 new signal boxes and 1 mural. And so we talked about this at the retreat. So that'll be added to our 2023 work plan. And then also we're going to start implementing, in 2023 was our year to start implementing rotating sculptures And, so we implement the plinth, and then we pay a stipend to the artist to put the sculpture on that. So, that is
What-
something that,
What
Yeah,
is our
because some of
total,
these people were
what is,
here when we,
what is our total annual budget?
so it is based on the amount of money we get from our city days at McGavick, right? And then, so, okay, long story short, I need to get that answer. What exactly is it? But I do believe, that the council is going to approve, well, I know that they have approved the signal boxes and the mural for 2023, and they want to do one plinth. We don't know for sure, and I told them what the budget was for that, which was based on the budget that we, developed. It's right around $14,000. And so we'll know after they meet and have their budget meeting, what they will allow us to do.
So there's no set that we never do a budget and then ask for it. It's
Well, we
whatever we
did in
get
our-
from them.
Oh, we're asking specifically based in the rollout of this year. So, it's roughly $6,000, it's about $30,000 for the signal boxes, so 36, and then another 40 for the blend. So we're looking at right around $50,000.
now, but when you say one plinth, so you're meaning that's gonna be the chosen piece of installed art that's gonna be on that one plinth, correct? So
Well, that would rotate out however often we decide, every 6 months, every year, and then we can add more.
Okay, so a little bit different than how Olympia and Puyallup do it, because don't they have, it's like almost like a contest of some degree where some artists put their art on loan, like let's say 6, and then the community chooses whatever their favorite piece of art is, and then that one goes on the plinth. You know what I mean?
Well, we have to install the plinth
Yeah.
first, and we did
Which are
not put
expensive.
that we would put 6. For 2023, we put 1.
Exactly.
So
So,
it
yeah.
would be a staggering thing, and then but maybe they'll want to do 2.
Yeah, but but that's good that we have a scope, so we at least know what we
Right.
what we can work with, and so we're not gonna get lofty
Right.
ideas of trying to go to 6. So
I do think it's good in that they can see it, and then they can be like, wow, I love this.
Mhm.
This is amazing, and it works, and we kind of can fine tune how we work with the artist, the stipend we pay, how long they stay, and then we've got a prototype that we can roll out.
yeah, and then we're gonna have to just kind of figure out where we want our gallery to be, and because these plinths aren't gonna be able to accommodate like something that's gonna be a massive piece of art. Not something
Right,
like the
we'll have to
Lotus
come up-
sculpture.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be,
And if it's in a roundabout, it can't be blocking.
we can't walk around it.
Then it can't be blocking the line of sight of cars.
No, so there has to be some gallery where it's pedestrian friendly and where that attracts, so maybe it has to be the Colonial Plaza because, if there's room, maybe we can, put something on the edges of, the Colonial Plaza to where that could be, the gallery, so to speak, because everything else is kind of peripheral. And like Fort Silicon Park is on the edge, and things like that. In the town center, we can't really put anything in the town center, so, I don't know.
They did express interest in that, the Veterans in Gravely Lake roundabout, and the roundabouts are fine.
Yeah, but like, it's not pedestrian friendly. You can't get to the roundabouts.
Right. But is that necessary?
I don't know.
Depends on
sure.
what kind of art it is.
I guess I'm just kind of coming at it from the way Puyallup and Olympia had done it, and that's where my brain is like focused. It's a tourist attraction for those cities where, you know, I mean, Olympias is on the waterfront, people are there enjoying it, they're reading about the art, they're engaging with the art, and the same thing with Puyallup, and I'm not sure if we would get that certain kind of engagement when people are just driving around it.
Well,
Is
I
there
don't know if
enough,
you remember, but
is there enough traffic at Colonial Plaza to warrant having art even placed there yet? It seems like
well, I'm going to say two things. One is in our PowerPoint, and I can show it again. But Earl did a really good job, and he picked out different possible places for the plinth.
Yeah.
And he actually put an image of them there. And one was Fort Steilacoom Park, one was Colonial Plaza, one was along Gravelly Lake Drive.
Which, kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. But I like the question you asked, where does city council want to see it? What are their priorities? And I know they're
Exactly.
going to say that roundabout, they've already said it.
Yes, they already.
And so it doesn't mean we have to do that, but we are recommending body. And so we can take their recommendation and then we can say the pros and cons possibly of those locations that they want
Yeah, but
and suggest new ones.
I mean, I think I was, you know, kind of thinking like the roundabout Veterans Drive being something separate from the plinth, because maybe there would be some interest in doing something more of a monument nature, like something larger on a larger scale for the roundabout, while the plinths would be a little bit, you know, smaller in scale. That would promote a lot of people to be engaged with the art itself. I mean,
Right.
as opposed to more of a grand piece that would fill up a roundabout.
So in our public art program, we focus first on interactive art. So there's all these examples in that PowerPoint of actually where people can touch it and it makes a sound. If it's in a roundabout, it can't do that, but if it was on a plinth around Gravelly Lake Drive, it could. I'm curious, with your expertise, your thoughts on that.
As to, sorry, I was.
The type of sculpture that would be ideal for the roundabout at Veterans Drive, whether it be a more monumental piece that's a permanent stable piece versus a rotating art piece. Like, could you see a plinth there with rotating art?
I mean, I could see both, actually. I mean, I think both. The parameters, I think, would be different for a piece in a roundabout, because it is sort of on an island. With no, and, you know, from my perspective, since it's right outside of the gardens, it should have some kind of naturalistic theme, something that speaks to,
Lake wall this way.
yeah. I have the perfect sculpture in mind.
I think Fort Steilacoom is a great spot because there's a lot of foot traffic there, and it would
There's a lot of
have
space.
more
and-
engagement.
And you know, Sylvie, I was driving through there the other day, and you know that area when you first get into the park where there's just off to the left, where there's just nothing there.
Yes.
You know, there's that huge, vast space, and I kind of did envision some sort of like a little bit of a sculpture garden that could actually
That'd
be,
cool.
you know, be placed there.
Yeah, that would be very cool. That would be
Or
very
even
cool.
or maybe combine it with sculpture and garden and get some of the garden groups to come in and maybe donate their time in planting things, because there's a lot of enthusiasts, and you could incorporate the sculpture with garden because you've got a big space there, and it would be so interactive to do, you know, some kind of like gosh, there's so many things that you can do. You could do like sand, you know, and do walkways and do Daryl, help me with this. You know, the spiral things. You know what I'm
The mazes?
Oh, the labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Yes,
Labyrinth.
yes.
Yes,
I couldn't
love
think of the
labyrinth.
word,
That's a
sorry
great
about
idea.
that.
That would be great there.
Mm-hmm.
Sally, if I could kind of
Okay.
piggyback on what Sylvie was saying, I want to kind of return back to the Colonial Plaza just for a moment. She got me thinking. When Courtney Brunel originally presented this whole Colonial Plaza concept with the drawings and whatnot, she had a wonderful PowerPoint. What really resonated and sold me, I imagined and pictured people coming and going. And I had to kind of look at Motor Drive as not a strictly automotive passageway, but also a pedestrian passageway and a place for people to stop. And I think we have a potential here with that plaza to just use just about every resource we have. And I think rotating art would be an amazing thing to draw people in, not just to, excuse me, not just to stop by, glance, and keep moving, but to actually engage with it. Those
Yeah,
are just.
but you're putting money into a place that you don't have control over the facilities. And so what's drawing people there? There's no cafe, there's no art gallery, there's no interactive things at Colonial Plaza. It's only whatever Lakewood, the fiestas or the other events that they have there. There's absolutely nothing there to draw people there. The History Museum is not really active. If Lakewood could control what goes into those facilities and create like a community place there, like even a library annex or just a community place where there could be a gallery to display art. I don't know.
Well, and I love the idea of Fort Silicon Park for a number of reasons. It's easily accessible. We need to make sure that we're making whatever it is accessible for everyone. You think about the families that are there bringing their kids to the playground. I know for me today, if we had an area where there was art and whatnot, I know I only have a 14-month-old, but I would take her there to go walk through and to teach her about art, things like that. So I think with the amount of foot traffic through there, and it's just such a community gathering place, it would be a perfect location to start.
And then maybe you incorporate that pavilion and put use to the inside of it and have like an art time for families to come and do art with their children.
I love these ideas. I'll let you know that I've learned firsthand doing events at Colonial Plaza and working with John Fleming on the Gateway Arts that, for example, we have to have an easement signed off by the property owners. So that's not straightforward. And then we couldn't, I don't know if you remember, but we can't do anything where the pavers are, because if you move one, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
And so we're very limited on where we could do it, and then it's still not our property. So I do like, we can put that in the back of our minds, but we may want to wait and see what happens there and what other things come in there, and if it becomes more of a pedestrian-heavy area. Now it certainly isn't. That could change. But I was thinking, would you like me to give everyone a refresh on that PowerPoint for our public art program? Because we should all really be able to speak to that. That is our 6-year plan for implementing art. And we could do that at our next meeting so that if we're ever talking to a council member or people in the community, we can say, this is our plan, we're in year, heading up on year 2023, this is our year to implement rotating art, and next year is our, chance to do the interactive art and so on. So, does that sound like something we should do?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and just so everybody's like, the way that some of the other cities have done it is where there's like 2 phases basically, to where, let's say, they have 6 pieces of art, which we don't need to do that big, but they have 6 pieces of art, and they're there installed in a certain area within the park, like let's say Pioneer Park in Puyallup. They're there in Pioneer Park in Puyallup for about 1 to 2 years. After that term, the public then votes out of those 6, which is their favorite out of that 6. Then another entity, such as like the city or a nonprofit in Puyallup's case, they purchase that statue and then they install it somewhere else in the city. So like Fort Steilacoom could be like the gallery of what the art to be chosen for that time. Then it would be completely then after that one piece is chosen, then 3 more pieces would come into play, and those other pieces would then be removed. And so you would always have that kind of fresh different view of sculptures. And then one would be chosen and installed somewhere that we chose, somewhere in the city boundaries.
Just at some point, we'll have to talk about the budget again.
Yeah, I know.
For all of
Yeah,
that.
buying the art wasn't part of the budget, but we did talk about having a fan favorite, and that one got to stay longer
Yeah.
than the others.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a way to save money.
We don't
but
have to
honor the artist.
Yeah, we don't have to do it that way, but we can. But it's a template that we can use to structure our own.
Mhm.
Yeah, and eventually it would be nice to have some of our owned art.
Yeah. Because the city of Olympia, they purchase the art.
Yeah.
Puyallup, it has a nonprofit organization that purchases the art and then gives it to the city. So it's two different concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
Sally.
fun. I love that.
I have like a something else. What about, on one of the, how in summer we do the festivals, the different activities? What about doing one dedicated, since we're Arts Commission and we're promoting the arts, doing arts in the park and having a bunch of different artists there that are doing hands-on things with people that want to learn how to do art, because that would be promoting art. You could have acrylic, oil painting, jewelry art, just, all
Music?
types of mediums for that.
Music, learn how to play the guitar or something.
Yes.
Too, I mean.
Yeah, just celebrating the arts. It could be at Fort Steilacoom, because that's big enough. And invite artists and then have art on display. I think that would be really cool, because there's culinary arts, there's just, since we're the Arts Commission, that would be like a one big kind of bang thing to just promote art.
Culinary art, that's a good idea.
I love that. You could put up a temporary labyrinth too. Just, it could be a standalone thing, but just a reminder that at Summerfest, we do have a passport. Passport to art is a big component, and it has never reached its potential. Robin? You're on mute. You're on mute, Robin.
I've got these dogs, sorry. At any rate, we could, going along with what Sylvia was saying, why not a juried art show? And not only that, but you know how reel to reel is? Everybody's kind of competing. I mean, that would be an exciting thing with the perspective, like an juried art showcase.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, first of all, thank you for all these ideas. I love that you are brainstorming as we speak and sharing what you're enthusiastic about. But there is FAB that goes on, and it's about to happen, and they do a juried art show. Do you feel like that's a duplication?
I think this would be more widespread in the community, because FAB is kind of, it's more narrow, I think, because not all the community comes to this, but something that you do at Fort Steilacoom, that's like, that invites everybody.
Right. Good point.
Fun, thank you. Okay, love it.
Hey, will you refresh my memory on the passport? You said passport to art?
Well, at Summerfest, we have a passport to sports and art. Last year, we changed it to include wellness, because with COVID, I just thought there was more opportunity to expand it to your overall wellness. So sports, art, and wellness are the three things. So we went from 25 vendors to 57 vendors that did something very hands-on, interactive, had enough staff to accommodate people of any age and any background in that particular activity.
I think it would be very useful for the members of the commission to actually go to all these different little, the big, Summerfest is a big thing, but to FAB and just take a look at them and and make sure that what we are going to do doesn't duplicate or take away from any of these other currently existing events. And then we can also then come up with something that's really unique.
That's a great idea. Okay, we've got an Arts Commission field trip to Fab. So, for those of you who haven't been, Daryl, you know when it is. It's coming right up, right?
1 sec.
You're on mute.
Refresh my memory.
On the Film Art Book Festival that Phil works on.
A couple of weeks in October, isn't it, at the McGath? I'm not quite. It's usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it's coming up in a week or two. Film, arts, books, presentations.
Yeah, so,
I was with them for a while, but in the last couple of years, I've kind of branched away from that, so I don't have all the details on that. That's Phil's thing.
yep.
Yeah, and it's also useful to go to some of the other big arts and crafts fairs that are held in Seattle and elsewhere, and take a look at what the Bellevue Art Museum puts on a big one. Take a look at what other people are doing.
Would one member want to put together kind of a list, just Google, local art festivals, and from here, let's say to Bellevue, and kind of put together just a Word document that has the name and the date, and see if people want to start attending those to get some ideas?
I can work on that. I'm always looking for different events anyways, because I always like to participate in different things. So I do have an idea of what goes on. And then also I'll take a look at kind of like the demographics that each of those events pull in, because I think that will also make a difference for what we do in Lakewood. So yeah.
And there's Adriana, there's also it's a little bit farther than Bellevue, but the Shack Arts Center in Everett has, in partnership with the city of Everett, has put on for the last 2 or 3 years a really vibrant artist, outdoor art kind of big event.
So that's in Everett?
In Everett. You just have to get up there.
Well, and I think, Sylvie, you really nailed it when you said something really interactive, because I think we have a lot of people that are just still getting introduced to the arts in our community, and that's such a great way to engage people by just that sheer exposure in a really fun, non-threatening way. And that's very different from like a really specific juried art show, let's say. So like that one in Everett sounds.
Yes, it's very hands-on.
And what's it called?
I'll
curious
find
now.
it. The Shack Arts Center is really much involved. And the Shack Arts Center started off as a glassblowing facility, but it's morphed into something even more than that. And then they partnered with the city, and then there's this big event that happens.
And there's also a new one, Adriana, on the Hilltop area. It's like a street art festival that they just implemented.
Maybe the colleges want to get involved with in their specific art programs, because that would draw people for them as well. Emily?
Yeah, we actually just met with the Tacoma Art Museum. I don't know if anyone's familiar with where that museum is situated, but right across from the front-facing part of the museum is this big open courtyard where they usually put the ice skating rink in the winter, and it's just empty the whole rest of the year, and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. So they've started thinking about what they want to do with the space, and they've talked a lot about what kind of art might fit in there, and holding classes out there and things like that. So that's very cool too.
And so the Tacoma Art Museum and the Tacoma Children's Museum, they're on our passport to art. Because I tell them, it's not likely Lakewood's going to have a children's art museum, or a adult art museum, or a museum of glass. So will you come out to our community? And they, we're very excited about that. So it's nice to partner with them, and they're looking for membership too and ways to be exposed, so it's, kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
But really, that's the heart of our mission, is getting the community engaged and exposed to all kinds of art, so thank you for that idea. Hi, Darwin.
Do a quick wrap-up of the Public Art Committee and Performing Art Committee.
Yes.
All
How are we
right.
doing on time? Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I reported on, the Gateway Arts last time, where, the big thing is that John Fleming has gotten through all the permitting processes for the most, not the right of way, but the big building permits that could have taken a very long time is approved and done. So, we are just now, he's just waiting to do an installation, and then we have to decide when we're gonna do that unveiling. And we had talked about doing it December 10th, but, the latest thought is that that's gonna be really tricky. That's our parade.
That's where it's gonna start.
And people get in line at their parade, and what really struck me is I was talking to Adriana, who's been a vendor, and she said when that parade started, or like half an hour before the parade starts, everyone disappears because they want to go get their spot.
Yeah.
So no one's likely to come to the Colonial Plaza to see an art unveiling when they want to get their spot for the parade. Staff will be super busy, as well as all of you prepping people for that parade. So just also, if anyone has the time, just to Google what makes a really good art unveiling, public art unveiling. I'm very curious and need to do some research around that. If it will be a standalone event, what's a good day and time, ideally in December, and what would that look like? How would we get people there? So if you could all put your creativity and thoughts into that. Do you have any right away? Do you have any thoughts?
No,
No?
I'll say them.
And it needs to happen in December.
I think that the city manager would like it to happen in December. I think he's anxious to get that, once it's up, to introduce it to the community. Yes, the weather will be bad.
I'm thinking not even about the weather, just December being such a busy month for families and things like that. It might be hard to bring people. I don't want to be pessimistic about that, but.
Right. All I could think of was food trucks.
I don't know, I have to think about that.
Yeah.
How would we make it, how would we
And
make it
maybe,
a draw?
I'm just thinking now of the Lotus Blossom. It wasn't a huge, we just sent out invitations though, and people came and it was nice and everyone gathered around. It's not like it was 2,000 people, it doesn't need to be. But we didn't put it out through our newsletters and social media. And I did put a call into John Fleming. He's done so many of these, he may have some ideas as well. Okay, so that wraps that up, and then the signal box wraps, I asked Earl he presented a PowerPoint with locations and to distill it down to what you think would be the 10 best locations to start. So if you could do that.
Sure.
We'll present that to City Council, and then the next thing we have coming up that's really big is the parade on December 10th.
What day is the 10th?
That's a Saturday.
Okay. I should be able to help out a little bit then.
It's 4:30 to 5:30. And for those who are new, the Arts Commission judges the floats, and we have trophies in 3 categories. So you can volunteer to be a judge if you'd like.
Will we be having all the indoor activities like we have in the past?
We are not. We're not going to do anything indoors. And we aren't going to have vendors. The idea was to have Santa come and just do Santa pictures around the tree with the Grinch and have some food trucks.
Sounds
Later,
wonderful.
Susan.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, any other questions for city council? I just didn't want to, these are really good questions, that Earl brought up. There's actually like 4 questions within that topic, but was there anything else? It's your one time to be in front of the Arts Commission and have their full attention. Robin. Unmute. Here you go.
Sorry. So you'd like us there exactly, precisely at 7 or earlier?
Well, since we're second, I think 7 or a little tad earlier is fine, but 7's
Okay,
when it starts.
okay,
So-
very good.
You'll want to sit right up front, okay? So
Yes.
all we have to do is get up from our seat, and maybe I'll save some seats for everybody.
Okay,
But I imagine we'll take turns going up to the microphone and talking when it's our turn.
okay, thank you.
All right, I think that's a wrap.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
Boy, these maple cookies are sure good. Maple chocolate chip. Next time, consider coming in person for a great treat.
And thank you
Thank
again for a
you.
wonderful retreat, Sally, everybody.
Yes, that was awesome.
Oh, wonderful.
Cool, yeah.
I am
Great
not
get
going to
know
eat one, I
everyone better.
promise. I am going